Suddenly lost a section of its fuselage mid-flight.
An FAA panel is blasting the aircraft company.
Amid new problems with Boeing's 737 MAX,
where was the oversight to make sure the most critical pieces were there?
a special update to the award-winning investigation with the New York Times into the problem-plagued airplane.
Lion Air flight JC610 went missing from radar.
And then the second plane crashed.
Ethiopia crashed minutes after taking off.
This was going to be an existential crisis for the company.
They had no idea how powerful MCAS was.
FAA's oversight was sorely lacking.
The mounting pressure on Boeing.
This was supposed to be one of the most highly scrutinized planes in the world. Here you are with another incident that was risking passengers' lives.
We're going to approach this, number one, acknowledging our mistake.
Now on Frontline,
It had direct echoes of everything we had been reporting on years ago.
Boeing's fatal flaw.
What do you think happened to John Barnett? The Boeing whistleblower found dead in his truck during a key lawsuit deposition. And why did Joshua Dean, another insider with damning information about the 737 MAX, suddenly die just weeks later from an aggressive infection? In this video, we're going beyond basic headlines. We're breaking down the timeline, the chilling coincidences, and the unanswered questions that stop most news coverage in its tracks. Think of it this way. If two people, both exposing serious safety flaws at the same company, end up dead within months of each other, shouldn't we demand to know why? Before we uncover the full story, fact by fact, testimony by testimony, hit subscribe and tap the bell, because the truth needs to be heard. Now, let's ask the tough questions that no one else is asking. In the world of aviation, safety isn't just a priority, it's tight. It's the difference between life and death. Every system, every bolt, every inspection matters. And at the heart of that responsibility are the people who make sure planes are safe to fly. But what happens when those very people, the truth tellers, are silenced? In the past year, 2 Boeing whistleblowers, both known for exposing serious flaws in aircraft production, have died under mysterious circumstances. 2 men, 2 deaths, both connected to the same corporation. Is it just a coincidence, or something much darker happening behind closed doors at one of the world's largest aircraft manufacturers? This is the chilling story of John Barnett and Joshua Dean, 2 whistleblowers who may have paid the ultimate price for speaking up. John Barnett wasn't just another employee. He was a veteran in the aviation industry, someone who had devoted over 30 years of his life to Boeing. He started in the 1980s and built his career on the belief that aircraft safety was sacred. In his later years, Barnett became a quality manager at Boeing's South Carolina plant, specifically the Charleston facility responsible for manufacturing the 787 Dreamliner. But something shifted in 2010 when Boeing moved much of its 787 production from Washington to South Carolina. According to Barnett, what he saw horrified him. He alleged that workers were being rushed to meet quotas, and quality checks were being sacrificed in the name of speed and profit. Here's what Barnett claimed. Mechanics were pressured to meet unrealistic deadlines. Damaged and even missing aircraft parts were installed improperly. More disturbingly, oxygen systems, meant to save passengers in emergencies, were defective. He alleged that up to 25% of the Dreamliner's emergency oxygen systems could fail mid-flight. The Federal Aviation Administration investigated and validated parts of his claims. The oxygen system flaw? Real. Documented. Dangerous. Rather than being praised for his honesty, Barnett said Boeing retaliated. He was allegedly demoted, isolated, and subjected to what he described as a hostile work environment. His fight for truth led him to retire in 2017, but not to give up. He filed a whistleblower retaliation lawsuit and continued speaking to the media. He wanted justice, not just for himself, but for the flying public. Fast forward to March 2024. Barnett had returned to Charleston to testify in his ongoing legal battle against Boeing. He had already spent one day in depositions with Boeing's legal team and was scheduled to continue the next morning. But that morning never came. On March 9, 2024, John Barnett was found dead inside his truck, parked outside a hotel in Charleston. A gunshot wound to the head, a handgun found beside him. The official report ruled it a suicide, but many who knew him were immediately suspicious. Friends and family described him as motivated and hopeful. He had told colleagues he was finally being heard, finally getting his chance to expose the truth under oath. Would a man who had fought tirelessly for 7 years, through stress, isolation, and litigation, suddenly give up on the eve of his chance at justice? Even more disturbing, the timing. A man testifying against one of the most powerful aerospace corporations in the world suddenly dies mid-trial? It raised more than eyebrows, but it raised questions. Just as the shock from Barnett's death was settling, another bombshell hit. A second whistleblower, also tied to Boeing, was dead. Joshua Dean, age 45, was a former quality auditor at Spirit Aerosystems in Wichita, Kansas, a key supplier for Boeing, responsible for building fuselage sections of the 737 MAX. Dean had become a key voice raising concerns about safety violations within Spirit. Allegations that affected the very plane at the center of multiple deadly crashes, the 737 MAX. In 2023, Dean reported that inspection records were being falsified, faulty parts were being pushed through. Internal pressure discouraged employees from speaking out. Like Barnett, Dean didn't stay silent. He was fired in April 2023, allegedly in retaliation for sounding the alarm. A year later, in April 2024, he was hospitalized with a sudden and aggressive bacterial infection. His condition deteriorated rapidly. Within days, his organs began shutting down. Despite treatment, Dean died on April 30th, 2024. No prior health issues, no long-term illness. His family called it a devastating shock. 2 whistleblowers, 2 deaths, 1 massive corporation at the center.
Boeing admits for the first time that a faulty sensor may be to blame for 2 deadly crashes of its new 737 MAX 8 jets.
To understand the weight of these events, we have to look at Boeing's track record. In the past decade, Boeing has faced scandal after scandal, especially surrounding the 737 MAX. In 2018 and 2019, 2 separate 737 MAX planes crashed within 5 months, killing 346 people. Investigations revealed shocking findings. A new software system called MCAS malfunctioned during flight. Boeing knew about it. They withheld information from pilots and regulators. They even pushed to avoid mandatory simulator training for pilots to speed up certification. Public outrage was massive. Congressional hearings followed. The company eventually paid over $2.5 billion in fines and settlements, yet avoided full criminal prosecution. In the aftermath, multiple whistleblowers stepped forward, including engineers, auditors, and safety experts, warning that Boeing's culture prioritized profits over people. Now, with 2 of those voices silenced forever, people are starting to connect the dots. Let's make one thing very clear. As of now, there is no direct evidence proving foul play in either death. Authorities ruled Barnett's as suicide, Dean's as a medical tragedy, but that doesn't mean people are wrong to ask questions. When whistleblowers, and especially those confronting billion-dollar corporations, die under strange circumstances, the world should take notice. Here's what we do know. Both men had no known suicidal history or chronic illness. Both were in the middle of legal actions or public disclosures. Both were making claims that could cost Boeing millions, if not more. The coincidence is chilling. Boeing, for its part, has denied all wrongdoing and expressed condolences. But for many, that's not enough. This isn't the first time corporations have been accused of retaliating against whistleblowers. And it won't be the last. John Barnett and Joshua Dean stood for something. They risked everything to keep passengers safe, to speak the truth even when it hurt. Now both are gone. We may never know exactly what happened behind closed doors, but that's why stories like this matter. Whistleblowers are not enemies of progress. They are the lifelines of accountability. So, what do you think? Are these tragic coincidences, or something more sinister? Let us know in the comments. If you believe in truth, transparency, and the power of storytelling, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video. Because in a world where profits often speak louder than people, the truth is a story that deserves to fly.